winning, that means you're feeling the vibe. The bell rung, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Please pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope Soul sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, Brooklyn. All my people, you rocking with the chat. Hit that. The like button would tell me where you at. You know, step from the MBK. Born and raised up MBK. Hey, real lady where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
What?
Dope Soul.
What?
Your soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Salute, Knick family. Welcome to the Morning Vibe Recap Show. The Knicks went into Cleveland in an elimination game and did the damn thing. Elimination games is one of the toughest games to win, whether you're at home or on the road. And the Knicks went into Cleveland and they just did it. They had a double-digit lead for most of the game. Cleveland made their little runs to try to get back into the game, and the Knicks answered every single time. This team has a workman's-like approach to the game. They don't get too high. They don't get too low. The intensity is there, and nothing changed in Game 5. And I think what's been apparent as you watched each game was that the Knicks were just a better team. The Knicks were just a better team. You know, there were players that they thought would show up for them in the playoffs that just didn't, you know, and the players on our side showed up. Not the usual suspects, right? I think many of us thought Grimes and Quickley would have a better series than they did, but we have so many, right? Barrett showed up. Obi Toppin, you know, showed up throughout the entire series, but particularly last night in the third quarter when Randall went down. We'll talk about it. Salute to everybody that's in the chat already, those who will come into the chat later, those who are listening now. I met a lot of people at the watch parties who will tell us they're not in the chat, but they listen to the show. So shout out to you guys. And then, of course, the replay gang that watch it later and take the time to comment on the videos. I appreciate you as well. Let's get into this. As far as the setup, the same starters for Cleveland. Grimes was out for us for his second game. Hart started the game. All right. Knicks in 6. I guess I'll leave that up for Miami. All right. I'm going to get right into it. Then I'll check in with the chat in terms of my thoughts on last night's game. Like I said, closeout games are the toughest games to win, and the Knicks went in and they did it. Brunson got us off to a great start. He had 12 points in that first quarter to really set the tone. One of the things you don't want to do is go down early in the game and have to spend so much energy getting back into the game. That never happened because of Brunson. Now, he didn't shoot well for the entire game, but in that first quarter, he had 12 of his, 21 or 23 points. The Knicks out-rebounded Cleveland 62-35. I mean, that's a huge margin. And it was apparent in the game. You know, we'll talk about Mitchell Robinson, but Mitchell Robinson, 18 boards. He was all over the boards for us, getting second and third opportunities at the basket for us. Josh Hart had 12 rebounds in that game. Another one, always around the ball, giving us extra opportunities. Look, Cleveland shot better than we did from the field and better than we did from the three-point line. But we got 10 more shots. I think they had 75 field goal attempts. We had 85 field goal attempts. And a lot of that was the second chance opportunities that Mitchell Robinson got us. So kudos to him. We'll talk more about him as well. Second chance points, like we were just talking about. We had 20 second chance points, not just opportunities, but converting 20 second chance points. They had 3. right? That's huge. So you're getting second chance opportunities, and then you're stopping them from getting second chance opportunities. And that was our defensive rebounding. They did not have a lot of offensive rebounds. And I think we had 17 offensive rebounds. I want to say they had 4. We just dominated the boards. And that's our game. That's how we score. Fast break points, not really our thing, but I think we made a concerted effort in this series to get points before they set up their defense. And you can do that when you're getting stops and you're forcing turnovers. The Knicks had 20 fast break points. They had 8. We were plus 12 in fast break points. Just amazing. So, to my point, the Knicks shot just 43.5% from the field, just 31% from the three-point line. Not great. This entire series, we have not shot well. But like I said, we played a possession game. We get more shots at the basket. If you don't shoot it at a high percentage, make sure you get enough opportunities. And that's what we've been doing throughout this entire series. Cleveland shot 46.7% from the field, 39.4% from the three-point line, right? They shot efficiently, but they only got 75 shots because the Knicks dominated the boards. Kudos to the Knicks. And let's talk about some individual players, and then I'll check in with the chat before I get into the next segment. Mitchell Robinson. Now, what I'm hoping for both Mitchell Robinson and RJ Barrett is that they've crossed over, and that the players we're seeing now are the players we will continue to see for the rest of the playoffs, into next season, and for the rest of their career, right? Now, obviously, I'm not expecting Mitchell Robinson to get 18 rebounds a game, right? But his physical presence in this series was like, I mean, I've seen it a few other times, but it's been pretty consistent this series. And I know he doesn't want to talk about playoff Mitch, but this is not the Mitch that we see on a daily basis. This Mitch right here, if this is how he's going to be every single game in terms of his activity, blocking shots, altering shots, getting us second chance opportunities for every minute that he's in the game, then this is big for us. This is big for us. Mitchell Robinson dominated that game yesterday, and he was a huge reason, if not the reason, we were able to close that game out. Jared Allen looked like he didn't even belong on the court next to Mitchell Robinson. He just didn't. I think he had 4 rebounds in the game. Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein were the best bigs in this series. And particularly last night, Mitchell Robinson was the best big on the floor. And you can argue the best player on the floor in the sense that he did what he does at a higher level than anybody else. Man, listen, I think we'll get into Miami a little later. I think, they're a tougher team. They're a more seasoned team than Cleveland, but they have nothing for our bigs, and they have nothing for Mitchell Robinson if he plays the way he plays. I want to talk, and this is in no particular order, the players that I'm talking about. Obi Toppin with the dope third quarter. Randall came down on someone's foot, re-aggravated the left ankle injury. He did not return in the third quarter. Obi Toppin played the entire third quarter, 12 minutes, and had 12 of his 13 points in that quarter. So sometimes when a player goes out, the other team feels emboldened, that this is their opportunity. Sometimes teams, not the Knicks, but sometimes teams, may, worry a little bit. But the Knicks, listen, Randall missed the last 5 games of the season. So the Knicks know how to play without Julius Randle. So the Knicks weren't shook at all. I don't even think that's in their nature anyway. But they had that experience. If anything good came out of Randle missing those last 5 games, this was it. Right? And he was playing well, actually, before he went out. He had I think he played like 16 minutes. He had 13 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists in 16 minutes. He was playing well when he went out. Obi Toppin came in that third quarter and got 12 points. 3-pointers at the basket, really. Obi Toppin during this entire series has played with a lot of poise. A lot of poise. He don't look out of place out there. He doesn't look shook. He's playing a bit more physical. Now, he didn't contribute in any other statistical category. And I think that may have been why they went with RJ Barrett at the 4 instead of Obi Toppin in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter, because he didn't have any rebounds, anything else. But the shooting was there. And we needed it. They were trying to make their runs. Obi Toppin made some timely shots for us. Timely shots. When you need shots, it's important that you get somebody that can knock them down. And Obi Toppin, did that for us. IQ, offense kicked in for us. He had 19 points, 2 rebounds, and assists overall. Wasn't his best shooting night, just 33% from the field, 30% from 3. But in that second quarter, he had 8 points and hit 2 3-point pointers on good efficiency. So it was just good to see IQ back doing what he does, right? Let's not forget, coming into the series, he was our 4th leading scorer on the team at 15 points per game. He was our leading bench scorer, right? And many of us thought he was the 3rd best player on the team, or at least played that way during the season, right? And we were counting on him going into the playoffs. And he did not play well. Defensively, that's great that the defense was there. But in terms of everything else we were expecting from him on the offensive end, it just wasn't there. Getting good shots, they weren't falling, right? But last night, I thought we got the Quickley we were all expecting for this series. Okay? Making tough shots, putting the pressure on them, getting in the lane with that floater, the catch and shoot 3-pointers, the ball handling, setting us up in our offense was awesome. And his defense, I don't know if Sherwin is here. He didn't think his defense was that great during the season. I think the first 2 games, his defense was okay. But I think these last 2 games, his defense was just off the charts. So it was just really good to see Quickley back in his role. And hopefully that continues into the Miami series. RJ Barrett, 21 points on 13 shots. 13 shots, 21 points. I don't know if that continues, but I hope it does. He also hit 2 3-pointers. He went to the line 6 times, hit 5 of them. He had 4 rebounds. He had 4 assists, right? But more importantly than having the 4 assists, he was looking for people. He was creating shots for others. He played within the flow of the game. RJ Barrett just looks different these past 3 games. For the entire series, I thought he did step his game up offensively, not so much in the first 2 games, didn't shoot well, but everything else I thought was good. But these last 3 games, hitting his shots, but more importantly, his floor game. He didn't look like he was playing by himself. Just setting people up. If we can get this RJ Barrett for the rest of the playoffs, this could be a turning point in his career if he just realizes that this is the key to your game, bro. This is the key. Just doing whatever is necessary. Not having the tunnel vision. I thought he was good. I think for Cleveland it was just too many players to account for. They had players who didn't show up that they were counting on. Plus, they don't have a good bench, and the Knicks was just rolling them out. Grimes can't play 2 games, no problem. Randall got an ankle injury. He can't play in the second half, no problem. Quick, not having the series we expected him to have, no problem. Grimes not having the series we expected, no problem. This is what the Knicks has been. really embracing that next man up mentality and performing. You know, Josh Hart doing what Josh Hart does, 4 points, but 12 rebounds. He was the second leading rebounder behind Mitchell Robinson, 2 assists and a block, right? Just super impressed with this team. And I didn't even mention everybody. I think iHeart only played because Mitch played 36 minutes in this game. So I think iHeart played 12. And I'm loving that about Thibodeau. You know, the margins are slim in the playoffs. Can't ride a guy if they're not bringing it. You know, Mitchell Robinson was on another level last night, and Tibbs just let him rock out. You know, Hartenstein had a really, really good series for us. And I'm not saying last night wasn't his night. I'm sure if Tibbs would have put him in, he would have did what he do. But Mitch was having such a great night that Tibbs just let him rock. So I can't say enough about, Thibodeau and what he did in this series. Not just when you think about adjustments, a lot of people are just talking about the rotation adjustments. I mean, that's not hard. Just if somebody is rocking, let them rock. I know that's not what Tibbs usually does, but that's just a decision. All right, going into this series, if a guy's playing well, I'm gonna let him play well. Okay, and he did that. But the game adjustments, like what, and he took care of that early. So once Tibbs took care of that earlier, whatever they was trying to do with Brunson, double teaming him, blitzing, the adjustments Tibbs made to stop that. After that, they didn't really have anything else for Brunson. All right, we're just going to have to play him straight up. You know, one thing I want Brunson to do, though, is pass the ball before the double team gets set. Hopefully he's watching film and he's seeing where the outlets are, where he could pass the ball before the double team gets set. That's something I want to see from Brunson moving forward. But I'm gonna check in. Let me check in with the chat, and then I'll get to the next segment. Not a lot to say today. I don't think today is about stats, right? I don't think today is about pulling up the box score and pulling up the team stats. I think today is just about what the Knicks did in this series and what they did last season. How we looking heading into the semifinal series against the Miami Heat, who was the number 8 seed and beat the number 1 seed. They about their business too. Do I think the Knicks will win? Yes, I do think the Knicks will win the series if we show up the way we showed up in this Cleveland series. We will beat Miami. But my goodness. And Giannis played those last 2 games, and they still beat him. In game 3, he had a triple-double, and they still beat him. So they'll be a formidable opponent, but the Knicks still win if we should get to that next. But let me just shout out the chat. Michael Sharon, I appreciate the super chat. Appreciate you rocking with us this morning. Before this series began, I told y'all the Knicks will win in 5. Here's a $5 donation for the 5-game series win. And how about playoff RJ? Listen, you got to call it how you see it. In the regular season, was not playing well. I don't care about the 19 points or 19.6 points again. He was not playing well. Now, he is. When the play changed, the narrative has to change, right? He's doing it. All right. Geraldine MacGyver, I appreciate you. Good morning, Knicks fans. We did it. Yes, we did. And don't we deserve it? My goodness. I'm sitting there watching that game, trying to control my PTSD. Knicks, let's come out of here with this one and put it away. Thomas Banks, you play well, you get minutes. Point blank, period. Jeff Clafter agreed. The only stat that matters is 4-0. Tsunami back in the house. Miss you, sis. I'm just out here getting better each day. I'm just happy to be here, and we're happy to have you here. Appreciate you. All right. Jarrell, I appreciate you. Jarrell had the Giants draft is tonight, so I won't be doing the Just Nicking It show. We're moving that till Friday. right? So the Just Nicking It show will be Friday, 9 p.m. Tonight, Die Hard Knicks Live podcast, who Jarrell is the host. That's his channel. We'll be doing a live draft show. So I will be on the draft show tonight with Jarrell, and we'll do the Just Nicking It show Friday. Go Giants. All right. Pablo M, appreciate you. Can't wait to see Hart versus Butler. Yeah. Me too. Kerry Cox, glad IQ showed up. Yes. We've been waiting. Sports Guru, appreciate you. Not sure if this is your first time. If it is, welcome. If not, welcome back. I feel like Cavs had to spend too many resources guarding Brunson. Right. And that's the game. That's the game. You want to double Brunson? Somebody else is going to get single coverage. If you move the ball quick enough, you're going to find the person that has no coverage, right? So anytime they do something like that, it opens up something else. The question is, can you take advantage of it? And I think the Knicks did. I know the Knicks did. All right. Dwayne Dennis, we did it. We're in the second round. The Heat are playing well. Who's guarding Jimmy Butler? He's on fire. Butler's on a mission. I say double him up and let the rest of the Heat beat us. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, he is playing well. I mean, he's not a good three-point shooter historically, and even this season, but in the playoffs, he's hitting the three-point shot. The Heat are not a good scoring team. They're not a good three-point shooting team, but in the playoffs, they're ranked number one in three-point percentage at 45% a game. Who's last? The New York Knicks, shooting the three at 28%. Okay, we're going to get into that next. I don't know if I double him off the bat. I think, you could put Hart on him, even though you're giving up inches. You could put RJ Barrett on him. I don't think Jimmy Butler is super quick, but he is physical and he knows how to get to his spots. So I do think you could put, Barrett on him. I don't know if Grimes is healthy and he plays in this series. Can you put Grimes on him? I guess you can, but Grimes is giving up inches as well. But if all of that fails, then yeah, you have to double team. But the thing about it is, at least in the first round, I don't know if it's going to hold in the second round. In the first round, they've been hitting the three very well, right? And so if your rotations aren't great, and the Knicks perimeter defense, which is much better this series, the last series against Cleveland, but they didn't really have good perimeter shooters to expose us anyway, right? Our perimeter defense hasn't been superb this season, so I think it could present problems if we're doubling Jimmy Butler and they're hitting their perimeter shots. We shall see. I think the Knicks are a load for them, a load. We'll talk about it. Yeah. I think it was more than just being out-coached. Knicks were the better, more physical team. People always want to say that the Bickerstaff was out-coached, and maybe he was. But what were your options? You look at that ragtag. They just looked raggedy in this series. Mobley didn't show up for them on the offensive end. So what are you going to do to generate points? I don't know. Maybe there was more things they could have did to try to stop the Knicks, but the Knicks come at you in waves. It's so many players that showed up for us, right? You try to put your resources to stop one, here come Obi Toppin. So yeah, salute Dripmore. I appreciate you. Dang, he copped playoff tickets in Miami for me and my son. Let's go Knicks. I'll be in Georgia during that time. And I definitely plan to get down to Miami to see the Knicks. Jarrell, hopefully Mitch can keep up this energy. Bam is a different animal. He is. Mitch, though, playoff Mitch. I know Mitch don't like that, though. Playoff Mitch, the physicality, the length that he has, on Bam, I expect I expect Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein to continue to dominate the boards. They don't have anybody over what's Bam is 6'9", maybe 6'10". I don't even think he's 6'10". So if Mitchell Robinson and Hartenstein continue to do what they did in Cleveland and not fall off, because everybody's talking about the Cleveland bigs, so they're ready, Nobody's really talking about Miami bigs. They don't really have bigs. But you got to come in with the same mentality, whether they have bigs or not, to dominate the boards. This is how the Knicks win. Dominating the offense and defensive board. So you're right, Jerome. We need Mitch to keep that up. Tim Smith, appreciate you. If Mitch plays like last night, going on, he can double his contract. That's all we're saying about Mitch. Just let this be your level of play. Obviously, you may not get those results, 18 rebounds. Even Tibbs said his defensive rebounding is coming along, right? So that just tells you they know his defensive rebounding has been a problem, right? Super great on the offensive rebounds. Defensive rebounds has been a problem, but it's coming along. He got 7 last night. Kenya Smith, watching on Facebook, appreciate you. Sis, bing bong, no doubt. Jeff Clafter, Robinson's rim protection allowed our guards to take more chances at steals, and they executed well. Yeah, no doubt about it. Knicks are nice. I appreciate you. Okay. All right. Let me just get to the next. And this is just the question, Miami. How many games will Randall miss? Listen, if Randall is out, can we win this series? Sure we can. Other players have to step up like they did in the Cleveland series. Is it an easier job if Randall is there? It's an easier job if Randall is there. Even if he's just 80%, even if he's not shooting well, you have to account for him. And that opens up things for other players. They're going to get easier looks, more open looks because of the attention that that you have to put on Randall. But if he misses games, can we win the series? We can, but everybody has to be on point, right? And you have to be on point against a team that's a bit more seasoned than Cleveland, right? Cleveland is young. They're not seasoned. This was a lot of their first time in the playoffs, and it looked like it. Some of them looked like deer in headlights, like they didn't even know what the Knicks were doing. That's not going to be Miami, right? They're a seasoned team. They just knocked off Milwaukee. They were in the championship game a few years ago. They know how to play. At least their main players do. Now, I think the Knicks have advantages all over the board. The Knicks have the advantage with Mitchell Robinson and Hartenstein. I don't see Miami keeping us off the boards. Butler, who's a really good defender, you're asking him to do a lot. He had 56 points in one game against, I want to say game 3 against Milwaukee. He came back last night for 40, right? So you're going to ask him to put up that type of effort on the offensive end and guard. So now you're going to put him on Brunson, or you're going to put him on Barrett. You're going to ask him for that offensive output and be a defensive stopper. That's a lot to ask. And this is why I feel like the Knicks have the advantage against Miami. If everybody shows up the way they showed up against Cleveland. We can't have anybody missing in action, especially if Randall is not playing, right? But if everybody shows up, we should win this series. I don't know, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know right now. But the Knicks should win this series. Okay? Will we get some perimeter shooting? Listen, the Knicks shot 28% in the first round from 3. We still won the game because, again, we played a possession game. We get more possessions than the opposition. We get second chance opportunities, second chance points. We got some fast break points against Cleveland. So can we win? Can we use that same formula versus Miami that we use versus Cleveland? Yes, we've been using it all year. Will it help, though, to get some perimeter shoot? Hell yeah, it would help. Grimes, Quickley, RJ, I know we asking a lot, but he hit 2 3-pointers last game. Maybe that's coming around. If we can get some perimeter shooting, the Knicks will be that much more dangerous. Okay? Will the perimeter defense continue? Now, Miami is not a good perimeter shooting team. At least they weren't in the regular season, right? So if it wasn't for their series with Milwaukee, where they shot really well and shot 45% from three, I wouldn't even be bringing up our perimeter defense. We don't have to worry about it. They're not a good shooting team. But against Milwaukee, they were. Will this carry over? We shall see. But if it does, the Knicks are going to have to be as good as they were in Cleveland and some of the games we saw in the regular season, guarding the perimeter, not giving up 3-point shots. Now, Hero is out, right? He broke his hand. He's not playing in this series. Oladipo had a knee injury. He's not playing in this series, right? So Butler has stepped up his 3-point shooting. Strauss, is it Strauss or the other guy? Or Strauss and the other guy. And then Duncan Robinson, who was out of the rotation, played a little bit this season, but is back in the rotation. And we know he's a sniper. Okay? So will the Knicks perimeter defense continue against a team that's not as anemic as Cleveland and is shooting the ball better, at least through the first round of the playoffs? And will Coach Tibbs continue ... whatever he's doing as far as the rotations, as far as in-game adjustments, as far as game-to-game adjustments? Will he continue to do that? He's going up against Spoelstra. Spoelstra is not a rookie coach. Spoelstra is someone that we know every time we play Miami, they throw in a new wrinkle in their defense to make it harder for the Knicks. They're going to continue to do that. Okay? Can Tibbs keep up? Can Tibbs make the necessary adjustments to the adjustments that Spo is making? I will say that the Knicks just have more pieces. If those pieces show up, it's a wrap. But we are counting on Coach Tibbs to do his part. Obviously, the players have to execute it. We won this series without the Knicks shooting well. I don't know if we're going to get away with it again, but we didn't shoot well from the field. We didn't shoot well from three. And we won the series 4-1 because we just dominated in other areas. I just want to show this real quick. Rebounding, 62-35. Points in the paint, what was that? 40. Hold on one second. This is real small for me. Yeah, 44-34. So we were plus 10 points in the paint. 20-3. They had 3 second chance points. We were plus 17 in second chance points. Fast break points, not really our forte, right? But 20-8, right? Plus 12 in terms of fast break points. The Knicks just, even though they didn't shoot well, they dominated these critical categories and was able to get points. Okay? Can we do that? That's something we're going to need to do against Miami. And if we can shoot well, that makes it even better. All right. And we have home court advantage versus Miami, right? And we got to hold on to it. They're not gonna be shook coming into Madison Square Garden. The Knicks are gonna have to beat Miami. They're not gonna beat themselves, right? But we have the better team. We have the better talent. We have the better bigs. We have more players than they do, right? So if we're doing what we're supposed to do and players are showing up and Tibbs is doing his thing, we beat Miami. All right? All right, let me check in with the chat before we get out. Let me just say where to find me next. Tonight, again, Die Hard Giants live podcast show. That's with Jarrell tonight, 8 p.m. The link is in the description. Subscribe to the channel. Tune in. If you're going to be watching the draft anyway, the NFL draft, watch it with us. And then Friday, 9 p.m., the Just Nicking It show. All right, let me... Oh, that's not what happened here. All right. Anyway, I'm not sure what happened, but let me shout some people out on my way out the door. Geraldine MacGyver, Queen, I do believe we're going to shoot better. Tibbs got us out of the first round, and I'm confident he will make the necessary adjustments. He did his part, Geraldine, for sure, but the players did their part. It goes both ways. Tibbs has to do what he does, but the players have to play. All right, shout out to Ashley Inc. 1. Jarrell, Miami is definitely tough. Knicks in 5. They tough, so we'll give them one game. Knicks in 5. Jeff Clapter, Coach Spo is fantastic at adjustments. Yeah, that's how it is, and you got to adjust to the adjustments. Walter White, we're going to shoot better, especially if Obi has to start. I hope you're correct. Deron Wayne, Hero is out, but they have Kevin Love. And I was happy when Cleveland bought him out. Went to the game that we lost in Cleveland, and he destroyed us with the 3-ball. Yeah, he's shooting. And that's another one that's shooting the ball well for them. Shout out to Parrish Duggar, Geraldine MacGyver again, Andrew K, Kerry Cox, Tsunami in the building, James Glass. Salute to Tsunami. They got a quarterback now. All right, so let's see what the Jets do. The only reason I'm happy is for Tsunami and Stafford. Otherwise, I could care less about the Jets. But they got their quarterback. Let's see what happens. Paris Duggar, appreciate the super chat. The greatest thing is watching draft picks playing playoff winning basketball. I love it. And believe if you leave this group together, they will win a championship. We shall see. Appreciate you. Jarrell, Die Hard Giants will be live the whole first round tonight. It's going to be a great show. It always is. Kevin Went, morning. Love where the team is at right now. Finally, as an organization, we're on the path to long-term sustainable winning. Yeah. And we're doing it, mixing it up. You know, draft picks and trades. To me, I don't care. To me, it makes no difference. You're on the team. You're on the team. Whether we drafted you, signed you in free agency, traded for you, it makes no difference to me. It's a good mix. It's a good mix of players we drafted, players we signed in free agency, and players that we traded for. And that's how you build teams. You get the best players however you can get them. Queen, we doing the darn thing. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Pablo M, I appreciate you. David L, Ajay. Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't miss any super chats. Kerry Cox again. Dwayne Dennis, David L, Tim Smith, Jeff Clafton, Knicks are nice. I don't know if I missed anybody. If I did, my apologies. If I missed a comment, my apologies again. After the show, I read through all of them. Thank you guys. I appreciate you for rocking with me this morning. I don't know. Does anybody know when we play our first game? Has that been announced yet? Will it be Saturday or Sunday? The earlier, the better. I mean, only because Miami, had to go right into playing Milwaukee. So I don't want to give them any time to rest. But at the same time, Randall can use the rest. Let me see. Does anybody know when we're playing? Sunday. Stafford Don said Sunday. I'm going to be on the road. Ooh. Noon. Okay. I might have to move some things around. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. Tonight, Die Hard Knicks podcast. Die Hard Giants live podcast. And Just Nicking It Friday. Peace.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Don't stop.
Where you at? Where you at?
Don't stop.
Where you at? Where you at?
Don't stop.
What?